Everyone, this is the Bearcat Coaches Show featuring head football coach Cody Finley. I'm Tony McGill, this is Tim Delaney. We're here opening week, Coach.
Yes, sir.
We had our little jamboree now with Bearcat football full time.
It is upon us.
Yep. Well, I am
Few days to kick off.
Yes, I'm looking forward. I've been with you when you coach. You're a pretty intense coach, all business, and
He's
you're
focused.
fun. You know, I talk about it on the coaches show. I talked about it last year. I'll talk about it this year. I love football coaches. I love football, and I love listening to what y'all are playing and all that, and then to see it come about. And you brought a new. It's a Finley era. You know, we just passed an era, and I think it's going to be fun football. It's hard-nosed football. You run out.
I hope it's going to be. That's what the plan is.
Well, we're blown away by going to
We'll
practices. You're a fun coach to work with and to work and watch, and so we're looking forward to it. Now, last week we had our jamboree. We played, went over to Stanislaus and played 8 Stanislaus Rocket Shows, and that was. I'm sure you saw a lot of it. You've been in the tape and all that here.
Right.
Lately.
Yeah, quick recap of that.
Yeah.
Right. I don't even know what the score was.
After the
28-7 if you count the three.
Right. Yeah.
20-yard
We
plays.
played it kind of unique. We started at 25. One
Really
series,
liked it. Yeah.
And then we hit to 50. So everybody got the same number of plays, which is a good thing, especially when you're trying to get kids better. But I thought, at times our offensive line moved people, and of course our running backs hit the holes pretty well, and we gained yardage. We were very, very vanilla. What you saw on Friday night is not probably what you're going to see all the time.
We brought that up.
We've got,
Tim brought that up a couple times.
we had to save some stuff for the pass, So, but when it gets down to it, the play that we ran, that's our bread and butter. We got to be able to do that. And I've been known to get mad and go, hey, if y'all want to win, we're going to run this play right here.
You got to be known for something.
And that makes them tough-minded. And usually most of the guys that I've coached would stick it up in there and do that. And I've even had kids, it's kind of a mindset that you have to develop. I've had some of my football players, I'd look out there and I'd go, what are they doing? And they go, the running back's telling them the play we're running.
Yeah.
Our guy telling the other team, hey, I'm running right there, stop it.
Right.
So that's kind of the mentality that we want to develop. Now, we're not there yet, but we want to be able to run the ball downhill right at you.
I was very pleased with the level of aggressiveness both sides of the ball.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's.
We came up and tackled pretty good.
I thought so, and we didn't miss a lot of tackles.
That's
And the problem we've had, the biggest problem we've had, is being able to tackle in space.
Yes.
And we're getting better at it. We're still not great at it, but I've seen improvement. I've only got the George County and of course this past week's film to look at. Live situations, but I feel like we've made an improvement in that. And of course, the test will be Friday.
Yeah. Well, Tim and I've talked about it. It's usually on the coaches show. You're talking skilled. You're talking wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, DBs, corners, safeties. Seems my impression of this football team is going to be one in the trenches. We've got a good offensive and defensive line.
Yeah, it doesn't
Some
matter.
big boys.
It doesn't matter at what level, and you coach forever.
Right.
You know that it doesn't matter at what level. It's always one in the trenches.
Yeah.
Now the guys that make the plays, out where everybody can see, they get all the credit.
Yeah, they get the pat on the back and the paper.
Yeah, you can't do any of that stuff without the big guys up front. So, and it's the same way. You see linebackers make a lot of tackles. Well, you don't see linebackers making tackle if their defensive front's getting pushed in their
That's
lap.
right,
So
right.
it always starts up front. And this is the first year in a long time that we've been big enough and probably strong enough, I think, to compete physically up front. So,
That's basically what I'm saying. You've got them ready. You've had that offensive line for 3 years,
Right.
and they're ready to play football, and it's going to be fun. It go back to a long time. It's been a long time that I've been this excited about Bearcat football, and I'm just, we just had our breakfast for the Oyster Bowl, and I go right back into the computer, and I'm looking at things, and records and history, and I'm ready. I'm 70 years old, and I'm ready. I'm like a little kid.
Right.
So we're excited, and not to put much pressure on you or the team or anything else, but it's fun and it is exciting, and you don't want to say the wrong thing on my end.
Right. And all of that doesn't put pressure on us. I don't think. I never have thought that. You know, like I said this morning at
That was a
the
great talk,
breakfast,
by the way, from an old coach's point of view. That
you
was a
know,
great talk.
the
Absolutely.
rivalry stuff is more for you guys and the
Yeah.
fans and all that stuff,
And
and
we eat it up.
ex-alumni and stuff like that. To us, and the way I kind of portray it with the guys, yes, they play against some of those guys. They know some of those guys over there. So yes, it is a rivalry, but that's just one step in what we're trying to do. You know, I've had teams that we start off 3-0 and end up 3-7.
Yeah.
You know, I've had guys that, you know, probably one of my favorite teams all the time. We start off 0-5 and then go win 5 of our last games and make state playoffs. So, you know, those guys were able to handle the losing. So you really never know a lot about your team till you face, you know, something like that where, you know, they have to respond to it. Adversity, you know, that's when you learn about your football.
Right.
That's right.
Everything's great when you're winning, and like right now, you know, everything, but, you know, let's just say, you know, if we do go out, we're going to have to handle that because we can't let one game affect 10 games.
define the whole
every,
season.
Every game has a life of its own and, you know, an importance of its own. So, you know, to me anyway, the past is no important than Forest County. It's just,
I get it.
we're close
I get
together, yeah. Yeah.
Yep, you understand it all the way. I'm known for two things in Long Beach, and that's because of what I do, and both of them is football. And whether it was at the youth football field or where it's been in the high school for almost 40 years doing what I do. I've had some seasons where I was sick and Scott Zink or somebody would jump in and announce and do some things for me, but I was still here. And I would do the middle school and JV games because I couldn't get up the bleachers to do the varsity games. So I've always still been a part of it. And again, it's like a renewed me for Bearcat football, and it's the buzz around the town. They're getting it, and I might be getting it for me when I go to breakfast at Ward's,
Right.
and there's 60 old timers in there that's played or a big fan. So it's a big game when you're talking rivalry, and it's not that way with y'all, but it is with us, and we're looking forward to it.
What are they bringing from what you see, or have y'all swapped any film or anything?
Yeah, what I see is what I saw last year. They're going to be 3x1. Offensive set 2x2, and they'll have some 2x1 with two backs in the backfield. Standard spread.
So they spread it out.
Spread football. Their quarterback's dynamic. He's the same guy that they had last year. He was a freshman last year, so we're going to have our hands full, you know, keeping him under control because he's really
a
good.
speedster.
So
He runs it.
right. So keeping him contained. They've got some good receivers. On defense, I really don't know what they're going to do, to be honest with you. We watched film, but they were playing West Harrison, and West Harrison's
Wing
old
T.
school wing
Yeah.
T. So they were lined up in almost like a 6-2 against them. I'm guessing we won't see a 6-2, but we might. But, you know, I don't usually really worry about that because being an old Veer coach, I never got on Friday what I saw during the week
Sure,
on film anyway.
right.
So you always had to make
Adjust real quick.
in-game adjustments, yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. We're playing Pass Christian in the Oyster Bowl, sponsored by the Gazebo Gazette and Hunter Dawkins, the
Thanks for
publisher
breakfast,
and owner.
Hunter.
Yeah, we had a wonderful breakfast, and he does this every year. This year we were in Pass Christian at Daddy's in the past. Last year we was at Pelicans.
Right.
But the mayors come out,
Oh, we
school
had
board
all-
presidents, superintendents, all the
Like
coaches.
Coach said, all the people that make it
Yeah.
a rivalry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the dignitaries.
yeah, the big shots. Me and Delaney sit at the end of the table. We were the
Let's
misfits.
eat.
Right.
But, yeah. But I did have a good ham and cheese omelet, Kenny Triplet. So that's a big to-do. It's been a long day. We
Right.
started off with interviews, and then we have a few interviews that we'll show in just a few minutes, but the big breakfast, Hunter speaks, and he does a good job there.
Right.
And I don't think the restaurant was ready for us, but they recovered and everything was good. But I like the challenges. The two superintendents, they'll exchange jerseys at their next meeting, and the mayors will do the
yeah.
same. Yeah. I know Talia had to bring over Dr. Locke, our superintendent, had to bring over a jersey for their superintendent last year for their first school board meeting. So it's fun.
Right.
And great school systems, two of the top school systems in the whole state of Mississippi, and we're right next to each other. So I'm just looking forward
makes
to the
Friday
game.
fun.
It
Right.
makes Friday
Now,
fun. And you'll see
for us-
when you go over there. You've been there the last few years, but the fireworks in some of the neighbors'
Sure.
yards, and
Yes.
it's a big to-do. And so we're looking forward to it. Look, we're going to show some clips of the breakfast here in just a few minutes, and we'll show a couple interviews, and we'll be right back.
Hey, folks, get there early.
Yeah.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your pain.
Glass Doctor is a proud supporter of Long Beach schools. Call Glass Doctor for all your home, auto, and business glass needs.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Do you know that as a Long Beach High School student, you are eligible for a membership at Keesler Federal Credit Union? Keesler Federal is more than a bank. It's a credit union and a not-for-profit financial cooperative. This means you share in the ownership. We work to help you prosper, not investors. Keesler Federal offers a wide variety of financial products and services, great rates and extra benefits, such as free checking and savings account, free online and mobile banking, and an annual savings contest. So come in with a parent and talk to one of our friendly team members about what Keesler Federal can do for you. When you join, you are a member for life, and we will be there for every step of your financial journey. Going the extra mile for our members since 1947, Keesler Federal Credit Union, where you are more than a customer, you are family.
We are here at the 8th Annual Oyster Bowl. This is the Long Beach Broadcast Network with Hunter Dawkins, Coach Jeff Stockstill from Pass High. Let's just talk about, I know we're not jumping ahead of the joints, at least with the preseason or anything like that. Talk to me about what you guys are looking like for this year. At least I know that's the kind of general question, but where are you going from here after last week? Because I know you weren't exactly impressed with the spring game, well, not spring game, but with the Jamboree last week.
Well, for one thing for sure, we're gonna have to play a lot better than we did last week. I thought our preparation was good. It's just our execution was not. So we're gonna have to make some plays and generally overall perform a lot better.
Now, I know this is going to be kind of a funny question, but offensively, Paris. Is that generally what the statement, the feeling is? What you guys are behind right now this year?
Not necessarily. I mean, Paris is certainly an important part of what we do, but we've got a lot of good players, and we try to spread the ball out equally, and give some guys some opportunities to make plays. He's certainly the one that makes it go, but we're counting on a lot of guys.
Absolutely, Coach. Talk to me about your running back room. Obviously, having replaced Jacquez and some other guys at least around, but from your running back room, what are you guys looking like so far this year?
Well, it's been more running back by committee. Quez certainly, single-handedly held that position for a couple years, so it's more running back by committee this year. We got 2 or 3 guys that we're counting on to fill that role.
Okay, and the last bit, and I guess it's a double-sided question, in the trenches, both offense and defense. You and I both know that's where the big wins come in. Talk to me about that. How are you guys looking like across the board, not only necessarily against Long Beach, but throughout the season?
Well, we got some guys with some experience on both sides of the ball up front, But it's just like anything else. Those guys are going to have to show up and do their job and execute their assignments.
Is there one player, one unit on the team that we're going to be shocked about on Friday night? We're going to say, you know what, that's something we need to follow.
Well, hopefully all the units will show up and play well Friday night.
Yeah, exactly. How are you guys doing as far as on special teams so far?
We haven't had anything live against any competition, so it's basically just been, practicing against ourselves. So we'll find out in a couple of days.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, the last question that I'll give you is, what's your expectations? I know that's kind of a double-sided question. You expect to win every game, but from going into, what's your realistic thoughts of, where you guys are competing in the district? The district looks to be pretty wide open, especially after Greene County lost most of their stuff last year, and you guys have a new income in Forest County. Where are we going from as far as pass high with the district this year?
Well, hopefully we'll show up and compete. I mean, I think we've done a pretty good job of that the past couple of years. Maybe we'll get a couple more breaks this year and pick up a couple more wins.
Coach, it's always good to talk with you. Coach Jeff Stockstill.
Thank you, Hunter.
We're here again at the Long Beach Broadcast Network. This is Hunter Dawkins, and I'm here with the Long Beach head football coach, Cody Finley. Coach Finley, talk to me about, you guys have not necessarily been all out on the media. That's probably a good thought of that. What have you guys been working on in practice? What does the team really need to do to come together to make a difference? Not necessarily just wins, but just to make a difference and a change of what they've been doing.
Well, I think one of the biggest concerns I have right now is conditioning. The heat has been a problem with us as far as what we can do outside, so we've struggled with that a little bit. As far as being physically strong enough, we've developed that during the off season. I'm not so much worried about that. It's more the endurance, because Friday night they're going to have to play 48 minutes, and they haven't done that this year. And people can say all they want, about we're in shape, but you can't get in football shape unless you play football. So this will be our first test. It's going to be kind of, are we tough enough? Can we tough through that fatigue? Because a lot of it's mental. It's more mental than it is physical a lot of times. They can do it. It's just, are we going to be tough enough to get through that?
Coach, you have, we're not going to base any of how you guys are going to play this year based on what happened last week in the Jamboree, but do you have a solid feeling based on what you saw during the Jamboree?
Well, I like the way we went about our business. We made some mistakes and did some careless things in the Jamboree, but there was good things. There's always good and bad, no matter what the outcome of the game is. But I told my team, and I told Coach Stockstill when I talked to him Saturday, I said, the thing that I liked best about the game Friday was what happened before the game. We got down to the field house, business-like mentality, wasn't any horseplay, anything like that. The whole time until we got on the bus, to the trip over there, to in the locker room, everything was, business-like. So that's one of the things that I'm super proud of, because it's not always been that way. And that part of that's maturity. I think part of it is a chance that they see that we have a chance to win some games and maybe even do something special. I don't know. We could be anywhere from 0-10 to 10-0. You never know what's going to happen. You can't forecast the outcomes. You don't know about injuries. We don't have a lot of depth, so that is a concern. But you can't worry about that. Each game has a life of its own, and you got to play each one game by game.
Coach, let's talk about your offense, which we don't really know much about other than Junior Brown. Everybody knows about Junior Brown, but what do you have protecting Junior Brown? What about your quarterback? Just give me a little take on what's going on as far as offense in the season.
Well, our offensive line was young last year, and I was the offensive line coach, and I started 3 freshmen last year, which if you'd told me I had to start 3 freshmen, I don't know if we'd move the ball or not, but those were 3 pretty good freshmen. So they're sophomores this year. They got 10 games under the belt. So, we're expecting big things out of the offensive line.
I guess that's the best of the old coaching synonymous. The best thing about being a freshman is becoming a sophomore.
Being a sophomore. And if you think about it, with 10 games under your belt, they're more like juniors. Not many sophomores play, 10 games. So, yes, we have Junior Brown, and Junior Brown's a great football player, but, the offensive line is going to it always dictates how games are going to go. If you were to ask me the most important part to any team, I would tell you the offensive line, because there's a lot of things that can happen. If the offensive line can move people and you can keep the ball, I guarantee you the other team is not going to score because we're keeping their offense off the field. So, I'm pleased with our quarterback play. DJ McDonald he's going to be a sophomore as well. He's got a lot of ability. He just doesn't have game experience. But the thing that DJ is, I always tell my guys, good football players, you don't have to tell them the same thing twice. And very rarely do I have to tell him something twice. He has the ability to correct it. He's calm. He's your prototypical, good-looking, charismatic type quarterback. So, he's got it. I don't know what it is, but, he's got it. He's in control of the huddle, and that's hard for a sophomore. And our guys have complete confidence in him. We've got S.J. Valentine, who's a receiver.
Good receiving crew.
Yeah, he's a really good receiver, and we've got Jaden Scott, another receiver. We've had a few guys come out from basketball that I think are going to help us out. So, we hope that we can throw it around a little more than we have in the past, and that's, yet to be seen, but we want to be multiple, and we don't want it just to be the Junior Brown show.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, then let's now talk about your defense. Now, just like you said about the trenches on the offensive line, that's somewhat of the same thing on your front seven defensively. Talk to me a little about that.
Well, right now, we are some of those offensive linemen that I've had in the past. We've moved them over to the defensive side of the ball because we do have young offensive linemen. Two of the guys that were out, actually three of the guys that were out last year they were juniors, so they're seniors now that the sophomores replaced. So they had season-ending injuries. So we've gained three linemen. You understand what I'm saying? So. Gavin Simpson is kind of the anchor of our defense. He's a really good player. Like I said, he sat out all last year from a torn patella tendon, I think. But we're excited about having him back. He's kind of the glue. He's a quiet guy, but he's a tough guy.
3-4, 4-3 set.
We're multiple. We'll do a little bit of everything.
Not that we're going to show this on the video.
Well, if you look at us over there, yeah, we're 4-3. We base everything out of a 4-3, but we're multiple in what we do. But he's kind of he's the tone setter for it. We've moved a lot of people from last year, and when I took over, this is just what I believe. I told our coaches we're going to put our best 11 football players on defense. And, and that's not been the case in the past, but that's my idea. You got to be good defensively, and hopefully, because we have not been very good defensively the past several years. Hopefully, we'll see an improvement with that. We've got some guys that run around to the football. We got another sophomore, Dylon Foxworth, and then his brother Rashad. Rashad's played a lot of football.
The secondary, from what I've heard, Long Beach has got a lot of good athletes.
Well, we've got a lot of experience, and we're fairly athletic, but, a lot of those guys have to play both ways. Good things. We're a fairly experienced team for the most part, even our sophomores, and we do have a lot of them playing. But they've got a lot of experience from last year, so it's not like they're going to be overwhelmed by it. So Tim West played linebacker for us last year, and I moved him to defensive end, and it was one of those things that I don't know that he was real excited about it, but I'll give Tim the credit, and this is all the guys. because I ask a lot of guys to change positions and do different things, and he came in and he said, Coach, whatever you need me to do, I just want to win. So we've got that kind of mentality. At least that's what I've seen so far. You never know. The test of any good team is how they react to adversity. So, and that's why, I don't get caught so much up in the rivalry stuff, because it's a long season. I've had teams start off 0-4 and then go 6-4. I've had teams that started off 3-0 and I said they end up being 3-7. So it's a long season, and every game is, its own thing.
Well, now, before we start getting ahead with the district play or anything like that, what are we going to see on Friday night that we didn't expect to see as far as good from Long Beach? Your thoughts?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know, but what I would hope that you would see is the speed at which we play at and the physical toughness that we show. That's what, I don't care about plays. And this is crazy. Now, it may not be politically correct or whatever, but I tell our football team, if you go and physically beat the other team up, just go beat them up. Usually the wins take care of itself. Now, I'm not saying we're going to do that to the pass, but that is the mindset that I'm trying to instill in our players. So, I'm an old school guy. I think you got to be tough. I think you got to be physical. I think you got to do things the right way. And sometimes that's not what people want to do anymore. It's easy to get on the board and draw plays. It's hard to get out there and teach blocking and tackling. And we've spent a lot of time. And that's, I hope you see that. I thought we've been a terrible tackling team over the years. I hope that you see a vast improvement in tackling, because every day we tackle. So I hope that those little things like that show up Friday night.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you talking to us. We're going to let you go here, but thank you again. Best of luck to you on Friday.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. This is the Bearcat Football Coaches Show featuring Cody Finley, our head football coach. I'm Tony McGill. This is Tim Delaney. Hope to see you Friday night at 7 o'clock, Pascrest Chan, the Oyster Bowl, sponsored by the Gazebo Gazette. Come early, folks, because I'm telling you right now, if you're there at 6:30, you will not get a seat. Gates open at 6. I'll be there at 5. Get there early so you can sit by us. Live broadcast on the visitor's sideline. Tony McGill, Bearcat Broadcast Network. Please join us Friday night.
Hello again, people. We're back here with Hunter Dawkins, the sponsor of the Oyster Bowl, and we want to talk a little bit about the history of the Oyster Bowl and maybe a little football. Of course, I'm gonna go deeper back than that because I got Hunter here with me. We don't talk that often, but me and Hunter actually both coached deep in the swamps of South Louisiana at the same time.
That's
and
right.
We know a lot of people, and we both coached a lot of the same type kids and same thing. But
Bayou in the river.
He's a good football guy. So Hunter, why don't you tell us a little bit about the background of this and why this is such an important rivalry here?
Well, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim. It's really, it was whenever it was started about 8 years ago. I told you guys during the early talk of the breakfast, Dr. Carla Evers from Pass School District and I, we had a sort of, we need to get something for a game. We need to get the community organized. and she had a good relationship with a lot of the people in Long Beach. And so, they athletic directors then, who I believe was Shane Rutledge, and Ricky Smith was also the AD at the time, who had the pass. They had really said, you know what, let's get it going. Actually, it wasn't Ricky, it was still Tim Ladner, but Ricky was the deputy assistant. We'd really kind of gotten together and said, hey, this is a rivalry. This is something the kids have grown up playing against each other. Let's see if we can figure it out. Well, then I find out historically this game's 60. This will be the 66th, which next to Gulfport and Biloxi, this is the second Harrison County oldest rivalry.
Well, and the guys are, the towns are side by side, and I know just from my kids going through the system that all the rec league kids all play together. So
and I see your kid down at the tennis court all the time down here in the past.
Yeah. And a great idea that you took what was already a rivalry and then you elevated it to where it was going to be, something big.
Exactly. Across the coast, this is a game that's generally followed. Everybody kind of sees what's going on. Athletic directors, the football coaches have always been good friends, and they really, this breakfast, we kind of, consolidated together.
Right. What about the record here? We're going to talk about that because it's 60-something years now, but
66
then talk about the last 8 years.
Well,
it's been different.
41 and 23, and then 2 ties. There were 2 ties back in the early 1930s and 40s because, they used to tie games, and, I guess that was the end of it. They said, let's shake hands and let's get going. Long Beach has been ahead, really, 41 to 23, and then the 2 ties. But during the last 8 years, Pass has won, in my knowledge, 6 out of the last 8 at least. And but in the 2000s, when Coach D'Angelo was coaching and Mr. McGill, who does the show with you too, whenever they were coaching football, and whenever Coach McGill's boys were playing, which I played with them when I was at Stanislaus, Long Beach went, I believe, they won 9 out of 10 in a row.
Well, they were pretty solid. Like any high school programs, you get your ups and downs when the athletes come in. And of course, the Long Beach program's been down, but that it turned last year. But once they get the program back on its feet, which we believe Coach Finley's going to do, then it's going to be back to being a solid rivalry with no clear favorite.
Well, and the greatest thing for Pass and Long Beach is district play. Pass got lucky at least a few years ago with the dropping of Stanislaus and with a little bit of reconsolidation from Moss Point and from Greene County and things as such, where they're not in their district anymore. It's more of, actually not Greene, Poplarville. Poplarville, who's had a dominant team the last 2 years, they joined an upper district. Long Beach has been lucky with George County leaving their district with, granted, they're going to be a lot more successful. I think West Harrison, who's got a stout team, as I saw last week against Pass, they're more of a classification 7-8 team what their appearance is. And so that way, I think that opens up the door for you guys a lot more.
Well, there's no question Long Beach didn't draw good cards as far as district goes.
Sure.
Even now you say we lose West Harrison, but we pick up Goche.
You still got Gaucher, Picayune, and things and Pascagoula.
Yeah, right. So, it's going to be tough. But as far as this game goes, the type of athletes normally that we see generally, even though their school is smaller, are the same.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they're playing with the same kind of kids.
The only difference is the former mayor of Pasquarchan would always say, Chipper McDermott, Pasquarchan's on a peninsula, and so that there's not that much space, at least included in the Harrison County area with DeLisle and things as such. But that's where a good, enormous amount of kids come from in the Pass School District, as opposed to the city of Pasquarchan. Because if it was just the city of Pasquarchan, you'd probably have just a 1A school district.
Right. But even the old days, years ago when I was recruiting at Nichols, I would always stop at the Pass because you walk in and there'd be some pretty good-looking kids standing
Exactly,
there.
and a lot of those kids too, who are now in DeLisle and even in the county, you probably taught it when you taught at West Harrison, because a lot of those kids, the school districts are realigned and such. So,
it's Yeah, and I know Pass has to worry about that because the way they align, it looks like the county schools take a lot of kids that probably ought to be going to Pass.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that being said, as you know, with the numbers of teachers at least going in, that when you're teaching, your kid can go to school wherever, you know, they still have the law in the books with that
Right,
too.
right.
But at the end, Stanislaus, back in the day, Stanislaus used to take
That was always a big worry.
and not only from Pass, but from Long Beach too as well.
Yes.
But obviously with Stanislaus reduction, because of the impressive school districts with Long Beach and Pass have, they hold it good with anybody now.
Right.
And so that is helping you guys out as far as athletic talent, at least coming to your school, but it's not necessarily where you'd probably want it to be yet.
The ball coaches, they understand
Yeah.
how important it is to have a good, solid school district, but you always want that big, good-looking
That
kid
little
walking
edge.
in the door that just moved from Arizona or something. But yeah, anyway, Hunter, it's good to talk to you, and I think it's a good thing you're doing here. You
Absolutely.
got you brought the towns that were already together, but you've kind of solidified it with some symbol, a very big symbol in my head.
Absolutely,
And,
absolutely.
It's gonna be a good thing for years to come.
As with, I appreciate you and Mr. McGill, the Long Beach Broadcast Network, and, I very much appreciate your wife, Madam Chair, of Long Beach School Board, obviously helping out as much as possible.
Thank you, Hunter. Appreciate your time, buddy.
Thank you.
Good evening, Long Beach and Pass Christian families, students, faculty, and beloved members of our community. Tonight we gather under the Friday night lights for a football game, a tradition that brings us joy, pride, and a sense of normalcy. But before we cheer for our teams, we must take a moment to honor something far deeper than rivalry or sport. Today marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina, a storm that forever changed the landscape of our Gulf Coast and, more importantly, the lives of everyone in our community. 20 years since the winds rumbled and the waters rose. 20 years since our homes, our schools, and our hearts were torn apart by a storm that didn't just reshape our coastline, it reshaped our souls. Long Beach and Pass Christian were devastated. Entire neighborhoods vanished. Schools were gutted. Families were scattered. But what could not be washed away was our spirit. In the face of unimaginable loss, something extraordinary happened. We all came together. We taught in tents and trailers. We learned in borrowed buildings. We rebuilt brick by brick, heart by heart. We held each other up when we had nothing left to hold on to. And through it all, we never stopped believing in each other. The pain was real and the grief was deep, but so was the love, so was the courage, and so was the resilience. From the wreckage of Katrina rose community stronger than the storm. We didn't just survive, we grew. We didn't just rebuild, we reimagined, and tonight as our students take the field, they carry with them the legacy of that strength. This game is more than football. It's a symbol of everything we've overcome. It's a celebration of the spirit that lives in every classroom, every hallway, every home in Long Beach and Pass Christian. So before the first whistle blows, let us remember. Let us honor those we lost. Let us thank those who helped us stand again, and let us recognize that from the worst of times came some of the best in all of us. We are here, we are together, and we are stronger than ever. Now let's play some football. Go Bearcats!